Today on Sinder's Playground, I'm going to give you a brief history of the classic television show, The Twilight Zone. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to another edition of Sinder's Playground. I'm your host, Sinder.
And I'm Jose.
And today, man, we're tackling a show that is very near and dear to my heart and a classic. That is the original Twilight Zone. Sir, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've never seen one of these?
Nope, never. I heard of one, but that was about it.
Man, it's so good, man. Like I said, man, I throw this series up against anything on TV today. Seriously, I would. And
Really?
It's so good, bro. It really is, man. Like I said, I need to own these. I really do. Like I said, I think after recording here, I might say there's somebody selling them on eBay or Amazon, like, because I want them all, even though they're all weren't like hit out of the park, but most of them are good. Most of them are good. So I'm gonna educate you as well as the audience. Now, are you ready to dive in, sir? Take a trip back in time.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So, The Twilight Zone is an American science fiction / horror anthology series created and presented by Rod Serling, which ran for 4 seasons on CBS from October 2nd, 1959 to June 19th, 1964. Each episode presents a standalone story in which characters find themselves dealing with disturbing and unusual events and experience known as the Twilight Zone. Side note, the episode To Serve Man, which is one of my favorites, was ranked 11th on TV Guide's 100 greatest episodes of all time. So that just covers everything.
Oh, nice.
I just thought I'd throw that in. Okay.
Is that the one that you told me about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Might be my favorite one. So starting from the beginning, creation. In the late 1950s, Rod Serling was working in television, having 2 shows that both were dramas, but being made to make changes to his shows due to networks and sponsors. Rod was frustrated and left his position. Rob thought if he did a series in science fiction setting, it would give him more freedom and less interference in expressing his controversial ideas. He managed to write a pilot called The Time Element, which was about a military man who gets put back in time and tries to warn the military about the upcoming attack on Pearl Harbor. The script, however, was rejected by several stations until Brett Garrett discovered it and loved it. So he produced it as an episode of Dizzy Lou Playhouse, which is another anthology series, but this series had no limitations. It covered every kind of like genre you could imagine. The episode was a hit and had great success and enabled Rod to finally begin work on his anthology series, The Twilight Zone. Rod's opening monologues and writing for the show is identified as the key element to the show's success. This is something I didn't know either. Each season, he recorded a different opening, which is cool.
Oh, so you could tell what season it was.
Yeah, by the open. So what I did is I wrote down the openings. Okay. So, season 1. This is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension of vast in space, and it has a timeless effort to it as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition. It is what lies beneath the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
That's giving me like. Have you ever seen the show Black Mirror?
No.
Oh,
Why?
I think you would actually might enjoy some episodes.
Is that a anthology?
I think it's actually kind of like similar, where like you can watch any episode and it doesn't matter what episode you watch. It's not like
I'm saying it's an anthology, so each like show is self-contained.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and it's just like it has some pretty creepy, weird stuff.
Okay. It's on Netflix?
Yep. You should watch just one episode or something and tell me how you feel about it.
How many seasons has it had?
Like 4.
So, I mean, have you watched all of them?
No, but they're pretty good and creepy, scary.
I mean, how far you got? Just first 2 seasons or?
Yeah.
First two seasons?
2 seasons, yeah.
And you liked it?
Yeah.
Maybe. But actually now, since like I did this research, I kind of want to watch these.
I'm just saying, like, if the way the show is described, it sounds very Black Mirror-esque.
Okay.
Well, maybe Black Mirror got.
Yes, I'm sure they took inspiration from the Twilight Zone. Yes, I'm sure. So, the Twilight Zone premiered the night of October 2nd, 1959, to rave reviews. Even though the show was popular with critics, it struggled to find audiences. CBS was banking on the show to do a 21 or 22, but its numbers were much lower. The series' future was jeopardized when its third episode, Mr. Deaton on Doomsday, earned a 16 in the ratings. This episode, though, attracted a large enough audience to survive while the show was in its mid-season hiatus. When it came back, it surpassed all its competitors in its time slot. The first season featured scripts written by Rod Serling, Charles Beaumont, and Richard Matheson. The three were responsible for most of all the episodes throughout the show's history. Rod never appeared on camera during the entire first season. He only did the voiceovers for the opening. Now, that was all about season 1. Now, jump into season 2, man. Now, as I did for season 1, you are traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of the imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. Yeah, actually, I think that's my favorite, like, opening. Season 2, that's the best one. For me, okay. So, the second season premiered on September 30th, 1960 with King Nye Will Return. That was the name of the episode. Season 2 saw a production of many of the series' most acclaimed episodes, including Eyes of the Beholder, Nick of Time, The Invaders, and The Trouble with Temptation. Although this season, 3 writers began letting others write for the show. So the original 3 started letting other people write for the show. Also in the second season, the show's budget was cut in half. The season was supposed to have 24 episodes at the time. But at the time, 6 were already like shot in the can, already filmed. And on the episodes that were done, what's it called? They were done on soundstage. Which and would also use fewer cameras. Like I said, that's something I noticed too. Like with I know when I watch it, because some of you know how you can tell when something is like filmed in front of a live audience, like it's a set.
Yeah.
And then while something is like out in location, so I could tell like that. Yeah, some episodes were totally done on the stage, and others were like shot on location and everything. I was like, and I always thought, hey, why did they change, or why did they do that? Now I know. I said because the budget was cut. Yeah. um, well, even with these artistic sacrifices, what do you call it? The season went on to experience great success, and and wasn't slowing down. Okay, season 2, in a nutshell. Now moving on to season 3. You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a one. Did I just read that?
Sounds like it. Maybe it's maybe the cutscenes were different for season 3.
Okay, I never started over again. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna say it anyway, even if I did say it again. You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of the imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone. Okay, so in the 3rd season, Rod was executive producer, host, narrator, and primary writer. And obviously, at this point, he began to feel exhausted. Quote from him: "I never felt quite so drained of ideas as I do at this moment," Rod said. This season was the season the show would receive 2 Emmy nominations for cinematography and design. Also, some other classic episodes, which I didn't name, which I'm sorry. But that takes us to season 4, sir. Okay, this is different. You unlock this door with a key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sight, of sound, a dimension of your mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and of ideas. You've crossed over into the Twilight Zone. I like that
one. That sounded crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so season 4 debuted in November 1962. Each episode was now extended an hour. An idea that did not sit well with Rod. Also, the opening cinematics was changed. This is where we get the infamous big eye and window door open, which that's what I like. Because each season I think it had like a different like cinematics for the opening.
Oh, okay.
So but this is like the iconic one. This is the one people like kind of go to. Hold on, what's my spot? But at this time though, Rob was rarely on a set due to complications to him developing a brain disease. He recorded all the season's opens in one day for season 4. So like I said, he's being worked. He has all these hats that he's wearing doing this, man. What you call it? Creative juices are kind of running low. Now he's dealing with this brain disease that he has. Yeah, brain disease has. So moving along, going to season 5, last season. Debuting in September of 1963, when writing episodes for season 5, Rod claimed, "I was writing so much, I felt like I had begun to lose my perspective on what was good and what was bad." Quoted Rod Serling. Several more episodes were classics in this season as well, including A Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. That is a classic episode. That's with William Shatner from Star Trek.
What is that one about?
Oh, that's when he sees something on the wing of the plane, and then nobody else sees it, so he starts losing his mind and shit. It's fun. It's crazy. What's it called? The Mask. What's the Mask? Plural is another great episode. Living Doll and Living Doll. But in late January 1964, CBS announced that the show's cancellation. CBS claimed that the show was way too over budget and the ratings weren't good enough. ABC showed interest in bringing Rod into write for their new horror-themed series called Witches, Warlocks, and Werewolves. But Rod was not impressed. Rod wound up selling his 40% share in the Twilight Zone. Pause. Yo, I didn't even know he had like stake in it. Well, it was his IP, kind of. It was his idea, so I can see him having ownership, man. But
Yeah, probably like through contract negotiations, right?
I know.
He's like, nah, this is mine.
You know, like I mean, yeah. Well, he did all the writing, so yeah, it's his shit and it's his idea, man. I mean, I don't know, but would you sell? You know, even though you're sick of like the shit you're going through. I don't know if I would sell.
I mean, maybe like if you knew that you weren't gonna come back from it and you wanted to like have money
for your family.
Yeah,
that is
you know,
true.
you're like, and maybe like you know, with it sounds like it was well thought out, like twists and turns in every episode.
Yeah,
like that could take a fucking toll on your brain and stuff. So I'm pretty sure he's like, I don't want to even come back to this space.
Yeah, I can see that, man. So sold the shares and he left. He bounced. But Rod wouldn't return to television until 1969 with his other show, Night Gallery, which was pretty good, but people tend to forget it and it's not as acclaimed as the Twilight Zone is. But it's a good show. Let's go. Now, going off of that, I'm going to go into what happened to him after. So Rod allegedly smoked 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh, so that's gonna do it.
On May 3rd, 1975, he had a heart attack and was hospitalized. He spent 2 weeks at Tompkins Country Hospital before being released. A second heart attack would happen 2 weeks later from that incident, which forced doctors to open him up for heart surgery. Considered risky at the time, it was a 10-hour procedure. While still in the hospital recuperating, he had a third heart attack, and then the doctors worked on him and to stabilize him, but he would die after being stabilized 2 days later. So he died in Memorial Hospital in Rochester, New York, and he was 50 when he died.
Damn.
Yeah, he was born in New York. I forgot to mention that in my notes. But yeah, he was born in New York. So yeah, man, like I said, I mean, you know I smoke, but like, yeah, I don't do it like that.
Yeah, 4 packs is crazy.
You know,
like that's.
Wait, there's 20.
Well,
wait, think about it. There's 20 in each pack, so 4 packs. How much is that?
You're really putting me on the spot. Yeah. It was 80 cigarettes a day.
20, 40, 60. Yeah, Jesus, man, that's almost 100, bro. Yeah.
How do you even have enough time to smoke? Shit.
It must be one after the other constantly. It has to be.
Well, back then too, I guess. Well, one, cigarettes were a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And then 2, I think it was more publicly available to smoke everywhere.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Like you could go into a restaurant, smoke. You could go into like.
Oh, well, even like when he did his opens, he had a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah. So yeah, I can see it, man. I forgot where I was going with that. But okay, questions for you, sir. So I know you heard about it, but now I'll give you a little bit of knowledge about it, man. Are you interested in seeing any episodes of the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, I would look up a couple, and I wouldn't mind watching it. I just looked it up while we were talking about it, and Amazon does have all the 4 or 5 seasons with ads.
Oh, you mean on Prime?
Yeah. I mean, it's free.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I do have Prime, so I might watch it on there. You know what you call it, man. But yeah, well, like any series, like I said, not every episode is a winner.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, but I firmly believe most of them are good, are great, well written, well acted, well done. So you should check out some. You know, like I said, and you out there too, all my listeners. Like I say, if you've never ever seen the original black and white Twilight Zone, you should watch it. Like I say, if you like scary, unusual, surprise endings, you know, from a series, in each like I said, each story is self-contained. You know, you get a beginning, middle, and the end. And what do you call it? It's one of my favorite series ever. You know, so definitely give it a watch if you haven't already, and if you like that weird shit, like I do, yes, I guess I will mention the elephant in the room, which is yes, there have been several other Twilight Zones in the past. I know
Several.
several.
It was just like another.
No, they did one in the '90s, and then this fucking guy did one recently. What's his face?
Peel, Jordan
yeah,
Peele.
yeah. This guy did one, which, and like I said, I haven't seen any of these. You know why? Because nothing beats the original. That's just me. That's what I feel. So no interest in seeing these other incarnations of this show because the original black and white one is the best. Yeah, and I say that proudly. I will watch those anytime and feel thoroughly entertained. And you know what? To this day, I don't think I've seen every single one. To be honest with you.
That's the cool thing. Like you can like watch an episode that you've never seen before, and
it's brand new to me. Yeah. And it's like, oh man, I didn't see this one. So yeah, oh damn man, I might start watching. But yeah. So like I said, brief history of the Twilight Zone. So thank you guys for checking this one out. You know, my name is Sinder. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram at Sinder666. Post about this very show, this very podcast. Post about my YouTube channel, which I do all kinds of shit on there. So just go on YouTube, type in Sinder666, and you can see my playlist of all my videos. And you can also DM me over there on the Instagram. You know, if you have any questions, comments, show suggestions, let me know. Toward this guy.
And I'm Jose. I will correct myself before people like hate me for it, but there's actually 6 seasons of Black Mirror.
Okay.
Damn. But yeah. You can follow me on Instagram, JoseCE90. You know, slide in the DMs, let us know what's your favorite Twilight Zone episode if you have one. Or if you do end up watching it, any show suggestions that you would recommend I watch, since I've never seen any. Or any show recommendations you want us to talk about
in the future.
In the future.
Yeah.
We're open to everything and anything.
Oh yeah, like I said, my podcast, I don't want to box myself into one specific genre. That's what I said. I like to cover everything. And side note, my favorite episode, Cinder's favorite episode, is To Serve Man. Look that one up. So until next time, I am Cinder, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace out.